You're watching NBA Now. I am Harrison Graham. About 6-7 feet away from me, social distancing, is Jimmy Crowther. We got the latest NBA news, rumors, lots of trade ideas. Yeah. And let's start with the latest around the Boston Celtics. Chris Paul to Boston? Haven't seen this one out there before today.
I've seen just about every team tied to Chris Paul besides the Boston Celtics until FANSIDED said, hey, here's how we're going to make this happen. And they threw out a 3-team trade idea, one that will go down in the history books, whether it happens or not. Now, the biggest thing with Chris Paul, and you've talked about it, I know, on a show where you talked about the least tradable players, Chris Paul was one of them because of that 2-year, $85 million contract. But I think the reason the Celtics are interested in a guy like Chris Paul is because Kemba Walker didn't show up when it was time to show up in the NBA bubble. And so Celtic fans are like, hey, who's next? Like, they're already moving on, which I don't think is the right play here. But Chris Paul could be that answer for him.
By the way, I will mention on that video, Chris Paul was the one guy that you could justify trading for. Yeah. It's just that contract, man. It's so heavy, but he had a great year with the Oklahoma City Thunder. That veteran experience could have some value on a Boston Celtics team with a lot of young guys. It's just he's older and he's got some injuries and that contract as well. More on this in a second. We'll show you that trade idea from FANSIDED. But first, we got about 650 subscribers on our brand new Celtics channel. We launched, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
We're growing like crazy. Let's get to 1,000 subs. We continue to grow. We can put more videos on our Boston Celtics YouTube channel. You see the link below. It's chatsports.com/CelticsTV. Appreciate everybody who has subscribed over there already. If you love the Celtics, this is the place for you. So go ahead and subscribe at chatsports.com/CelticsTV. Jimmy, please attempt to break down this 3-team trade idea. We couldn't even fit it on our graphic for trade, so we had to just screenshot this.
So here's what we got. Chris Paul, Steven Adams, Dennis Schroeder, Kevin Huerter, all going to the Boston Celtics. To the Atlanta Hawks, Kemba Walker, Gordon Hayward, Daniel Tice, and Vincent Poirier. So there you go. You got 4 Celtics all going to the Atlanta Hawks. Okay. That is the bulk of their involvement in the trade, besides getting CP3, Adams, Schroeder, and Huerter. Now the Thunder are the team that make this whole thing happen by acquiring Clint Capella from the Atlanta Hawks, who hasn't played for the Hawks, by the way. DeAndre Hunter, who was a first-round pick last year. Dwayne Dedmon, Bruno Fernando, who was a second-round pick last year. Romeo Langford and Carson Edwards, both draft picks of the Celtics last year. And then the Atlanta Hawks' first-round pick, which is number 6 overall. The Memphis Grizzlies' first-round pick, which is from the Celtics, which is 14th overall. The Bucks' first-round pick from the Celtics, which is 30th overall. And then a Boston Celtics first-round pick in 2021. So the Thunder get everything, but we're going to focus on the Celtics part of all of this because this is where I'm the most intrigued, is they're giving up Kemba Walker, they're giving up Gordon Hayward, they're giving up Daniel Tice. Those are 3 very important role players for them, and you're going from one veteran point guard to another. You had Kemba Walker, who last year really did have a very steady year with this Celtic team until the playoffs rolled around, but Chris Paul, I will say, is the better, I would say, playmaker at this point in his career, and he's more of a veteran that has proven that he can win more important games than Kemba Walker. So you're upgrading, I believe, from Walker to Chris Paul, but you got to take on that contract, and he's a bit older too.
You're upgrading at least in the short term. For a 1 or 2 year window, I think it would be an upgrade. We saw Chris Paul take the Rockets to 7 games last year, basically by himself, by outplaying Russell Westbrook and James Harden at times. But pick a point guard for us, especially you Celtics fans. Type CP for Chris Paul, KW for Kemba Walker. Who would you rather have as your team's point guard? Let us know in the comment section, CP or KW. This is what the starting 5 would look like with Chris Paul and Steven Adams, who would be a part of this trade as well.
Don't forget Kevin Huerter also comes over, which I think is one of the main reasons the Hawks say no in this deal. I think the Hawks are the team that's out completely. But for the Celtics, you're upgrading, I believe, just about everywhere. I love Kemba Walker, don't get me wrong. But in the short term, yes, I'd rather have Chris Paul. Kevin Huerter, one of the best three-point shooters next year, I believe. And then Dennis Schroeder becomes a great 6-man off the bench.
Two legitimate 6-man, and Marcus Smart and Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, nice compliment. They can both play together in the same backcourt. I think the Celtics would do this deal, but they are giving up a lot of draft capital, and they're giving up Hayward and Kemba Walker. So it's a lot of moving parts. Yeah. Let me also say, I did not come up with that trade. No. That was all FANSIDED, but we had to break it down for you here on NBA Now.
So where will Chris Paul play next season? Let us know down in the comment section. At this point, I just think it won't be OKC.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They're going to move him if they can. It was a fun season for the Thunder, but they like to get assets, and I think they'll try to get one for Chris Paul. Maybe, just maybe, the Celtics will make a play for CP3. Next rumor here on NBA Now, the Milwaukee Bucks apparently want to bring Kyle Lowry on board.
Yeah, this one coming from Scoop B. Robinson. Obviously, we know Milwaukee is looking to upgrade around Giannis Antetokounmpo, and a guy like Kyle Lowry who would give you that championship pedigree and give you a degree of winning, which the Bucks do not have right now, I think would be huge for this Milwaukee team. Now, no official trade has been offered. There are no rumors of who even the Bucks would look to move in this one, but lucky for you guys, you know what I do here. I come up with my own trade ideas.
Yes.
So how would this go down? I think the Bucks get Kyle Lowry, and I think this trade has to start with Eric Bledsoe to make the money work.
Bledsoe has to be involved.
Has to be involved, and then if you want to get better in the long term, Dante DiVincenzo is a really nice piece, and the 24th overall pick, which is the Pacers pick, but it belongs to the Bucks, all go to the Raptors. Listen, personally, because I think of what Kyle Lowry means to that city and means to that team, I don't think the Raptors do this, but I think this is the closest you're going to get to making it happen.
It's interesting, though, because you think about Toronto, and this is what the Bucks lineup would look like if they got Kyle Lowry on board. And I think if he's your number 2/3, however you want to slice it, behind Giannis with Chris Middleton, that brings you a guy who can handle the big moments, a guy who's a proven winner in Kyle Lowry. I think that would be interesting. But Toronto's a team to watch this offseason because Marc Gasol probably gone.
Serge Ibaka
probably gone. What do they do with
Fred
young
VanVleet?
pieces? Fred VanVleet's a free agent. Do they re-sign him? Do you continue to build around Siakam? Do you keep Lowry on board? I think OG Anunoby, there's a lot of pieces there that, if they want to commit to a youth movement, maybe you do trade Lowry and you try to go Siakam, Anunoby, get another young piece like a DiVincenzo who can, help groom that young rebuild there up in Toronto. I'm fascinated to watch and see what they do this offseason because they're just a year removed from a championship.
Yeah, listen, if you want to go get a Bucks jersey, you want to get a jersey of any team or any player, you go to chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. My favorite thing is all these new jerseys that are coming out, FanSided's already got them ready for you on the website. I had to pull this Trae Young, on Fanatics, chatsports.com/NBA jerseys with our friends over at Fanatics. Look, the Dallas Mavericks green, everybody wants a piece of those. Go get one today. So I'm a big fan of all these jerseys, and Fanatics is the best place to get your authentic one.
Look at these Nets alternates. They're going back about 20 years with these alternate unis this year. They're available at Fanatics, chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. By the way, we're going to get to them in a minute. The Warriors have some new jerseys as well. Those will be on Fanatics very soon, I can imagine. Chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Check the comments, check the description. Take advantage of these brand new Nike jerseys today. Kyle Lowry's former teammate, DeMar DeRozan, maybe he could be on the move. Remember, he does have a player option, so he would have to opt in to get traded.
Yeah, and I do expect him to opt into that deal, even though there's some anonymous agent out there saying he doesn't even like San Antonio anymore. I think the Spurs are going to commit to a youth movement and look to trade him, assuming he opts into that deal. I do think he's going to be difficult to trade in today's NBA, and the Bucks are interested, but since we just talked about the Bucks, I want to focus on the Nets being the other team linked to DeMar DeRozan right here because they're looking for a third star to add to that tandem of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And any trade the Nets are involved in this offseason has to begin with Caris LeVert because he is a guy that truly came into play inside the NBA bubble and turned into a guy that can be a playmaker. And you look at that Brooklyn Nets team, they completely overachieved, and in large part thanks to Caris LeVert in the bubble.
I think if you're Brooklyn, if you're trying to get a third established star, I'll use the word established because DeRozan's a guy who's been around. He's been a 20-point scorer for the better part of a decade now. If they're serious about getting a guy like that on board, you're either going to have to move LeVert, Dinwiddie, or both. It's going to have to be one or both of those pieces. So the one you put together here was LeVert, Taurean Prince, and they're the number 21 overall pick, which they have via OKC there. So that's interesting. Do they want just a mid-range scorer with Kyrie and Durant? That's my question.
So here's the reason I think this one actually works. While I don't think DeMar DeRozan's a great fit in this NBA, with this team, I think he would be because you have three really good shooters around him, assuming they can bring back Joe Harris in free agency.
Yep.
You got Kyrie, who's an elite three-point shooter. Kevin Durant, assuming he comes back, is an elite three-point shooter. Joe Harris is just an elite three-point shooter. And then you can afford to have a slasher like DeMar DeRozan in there with a big man like Jared Allen in the middle. And all of a sudden you got three guys who on any given night can give you 20 points.
Yeah, it can give you 30 on any given night.
Right.
I mean, Durant and Kyrie are 25-plus a night, for sure. DeRozan, 20 to 23, depending on what team he is on. I mean, this would be a fascinating big three to follow, and the Nets already are a very fascinating team to watch because Durant's coming off Achilles. Kyrie's battled injuries in recent years. They got a new coach. There's a lot of movement. And Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire's an
Mike
assistant
D'Antoni.
there. This is going to be a league pass team for sure this next season, so this will be something to watch up in Brooklyn. So we just talked about former teammates Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Who is the better player? Type KL for Kyle Lowry. Type DD for DeMar DeRozan. Go ahead, cast your votes down in the comment section. Let us know who is the better player in today's NBA. The latest Golden State Warriors rumors surround Paul Millsap, who is one of the top free agents in this year's NBA free agent class. Jimmy, could Millsap be a fit for Golden State?
You know it's a sad free agency class when 35-year-old Paul Millsap is near the top of the list. But I will say this. What I saw from Paul Millsap in the bubble and in the NBA playoffs with that Nugget team that really made a run showed me that he would be a perfect fit on a team looking to win right now and a team that needs to improve their depth. And on a one-year deal, maybe the mid-level exception, maybe even the veterans minimum, this would be a steal for the Golden State Warriors because he's a veteran that knows how to win games, and he's truly improved his three-point shooting to where you have to defend him. He didn't shoot that many, but when he shot better than 40% from beyond the three-point arc.
What I like about Paul Millsap, Jimmy, is he knows exactly who he is. He's not going to do anything. He's not going to try to be someone he's not and say, hey, I'm going to try and score 25 a night. He knows he's a role player at this point. He's an efficient scorer, good, versatile defender. He can guard threes. He can guard fours. And like you said, he's improved his game where he can be that kind of stretch four type in today's NBA. And I think is like a value number 4 type of piece for a team in Golden State that's established, that's getting their superstars back in Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. And, we'll see what they do with Draymond and Wiggins this offseason. Maybe one of those guys gets traded. But if Millsap's your number 4 in Golden State, I like that quite a bit for a guy who's a veteran, has played a ton of playoff games dating back to his days in Atlanta, and now with the Nuggets. I think that could make a lot of sense for the Golden State Warriors. More stuff on the Warriors in a sec, but by the way, if you guys aren't aware, we have launched our Warriors-only channel, and Jimmy, it's growing like crazy. We're almost at 5,000 subs. Get subscribed at youtube.com/WarriorsTV. We're putting up, 3, 4, 5 videos a week. The more we continue to grow, the more videos we can plug out on the Golden State Warriors for you guys. So if you're watching on our Warriors channel, hit that sub button. But if you're watching on Chat Sports, go subscribe at youtube.com/WarriorsTV.
And Harrison, let's get back to Paul Millsap here and talk about why I think this makes sense for the Warriors. Look, this big man rotation, it's sad. It's sad. Draymond Green, we know what he can do. He's a great defensive player. Eric Pascal, he's good, but he's still young, and this is a team looking to win right now. I don't really trust him playing big minutes in the playoffs. Marquise Chris, he had some good showings last year, but anybody on that Warriors team could have had a good showing. So you bring in an established Paul Millsap to help out this big man depth, and then let's say they go out and draft a James Wiseman number 2 overall, your rotation is pretty set, and you don't have to do a lot in free agency besides maybe bring in a Paul Millsap.
And then all of a sudden, when Eric Pascal goes from your 4th man in your rotation to like your 9th, you're feeling pretty good at that point because he got valuable playing time last year and I think proved he can be a solid bench player, but he's not a guy you want to start, not at this point in his career. You put Millsap in the lineup there, pair him with Steph, Klay, and Draymond, and potentially Wiggins if he's still on board. This is a exciting potential starting 5, and hey, Paul Millsap's made his money in the NBA.
Right.
Maybe he's looking to chase an NBA championship at this point. He's in his mid-late 30s now. Still a valuable piece in today's NBA. I'll be very fascinated to see where Millsap lands. Perhaps it'll be the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, so let us know where you think Millsap's going to land. If it's Denver, type your DEN. If it's the Golden State Warriors, type GSW. If you got another team that we haven't talked about for Paul Millsap, which is very viable because there's going to be a lot of teams chasing him this year, let us know in the comment section. And one more thing I want to talk about here. Maybe Paul Millsap will be able to put on these brand new Golden State Warriors jerseys that the team just announced the team will wear next season. A bit ironic, being that it's Oakland forever, isn't it, Harrison?
This feels like poor taste to me, as the Warriors just moved to San Francisco last year. I get paying, your honor to your former city there, but they're no longer in Oakland.
No, they're
Sweet
not.
unis, but they're
Very
going to be
cool.
playing in San Francisco. You know what would be cool? If they would play a few games in Oakland each year, but not looking like that's going to be the case. I like this look, but I'm not sure it's in the best taste from Golden State. But a lot of teams are launching their new alternate jerseys, their City Edition jerseys for the next season, and that's why you should go check out Fanatics, chatsports.com/NBA jerseys, because we got a lot of them available over there. But what do you guys think? Do you like the Warriors' new jerseys? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think they're a good look. I just don't know if it's the best messaging.
If you're a Mavs fan, you're getting some bad flashbacks to the We Believe Warriors, so you're probably typing your in for no. But I'm a big fan of these. I would type my Y for yes. Big fan of those new jerseys.